We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone. She did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you.
Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, where we have conversations about education, leadership, and building a school of excellence. The goal on this show is to bring you clarity, up-level your mindset, and give you practical strategies and inspiration so you can show up with confidence and trust your decision-making. I'm Chani Olshansky. I'm a mom of 4 under 10, a former New Yorker, and been in the early childhood field my entire life. And I'm so grateful that you've joined me for this conversation. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Schools of Excellence podcast. This is the third episode in the 4-part series of the 4 shields of the difficult conversation. The first shield we spoke about was blaming. Last week, we spoke about crying. And this week, we are going to be talking about deflection as the third shield of the difficult conversation. So let's try to understand what deflection is, okay? The best way to imagine it is like if you took a laser beam and you pointed it at someone and they put up a shield and it would deflect right back to you that light, right? Deflection is a really great tactic that a lot of people use. Deflection is when a director and owner is trying to communicate something to a staff member, and instead of taking it in, they deny it, they ignore it, they turn away from it, or they crack a cynical joke. Or at the worst, they turn it back towards you. And now they make you as like, oh, no, this is really all your issue. It's a defense mechanism from hell, because it is the hardest to work with in a school, because it becomes so toxic and it creates this horrendous ripple effect that other people in the school start using. When we're kids, deflection sometimes look at, a child spills the milk and the kid's like, the cup did it, right? And it sounds silly as like a 2-year-old, but in adulthood, when it goes unchecked, it's really toxic. I heard a teacher say to a director once that the director was talking to the teacher and she was like, I want to connect with you a little bit about how we want to create some better discipline strategies to help the children feel more comfortable at circle time in some of the transitions, because I've noticed that it's a little difficult when things are feeling a little out of control for you. Sometimes you raise your voice. And the teacher said, well, the kids in the class are really misbehaving. That's why I raised my voice. They made me do it. And I know some of you are listening in horror and you're like, oh my gosh, like which teacher tells the kid you made me do this? But guys, this happens in schools all the time. And these teachers are good people. It's a coping strategy, and it's really hard to break. This is a coping strategy that people have had since they were kids, all the way through adolescence and adulthood, because at the root of deflection is there is a topic that you are bringing up that they are struggling with. You are bringing something to their attention that they're not good at, right? This teacher is really struggling with managing her emotions when things feel out of control for her. And so when you bring it to her attention, she's going to deflect, because that is her coping strategy. She has had a lifetime of using this strategy to protect herself. And so changing doesn't happen overnight. A person who says something to hurt someone and then blames them for being sensitive, right? Now, sometimes you look at deflection as gaslighting. A person who's actively destroying a relationship and says, well, it takes 2 to tango. A friend who says something hurtful and then says, oh, she's just triggered from her childhood, right? This is deflection. And so the first place to start with is with empathy. How do we respond to someone who's deflecting? We want to lead with empathy. We want to lead with a place of this person has had a lifetime of using this strategy to protect themselves. And so I need to start showing them they don't need to protect themselves here. It's okay. It's safe. Okay, so that's step one. Always step one is leading with empathy. Step two is looking at we want to keep the ball of responsibility in their court, right? We want this to be a focus of them, is because deflection is such a powerful tool that makes you start guessing yourself as a leader and makes you hesitate your next decision. A couple minutes ago, you were like, okay, this is the strategy. And you knew this was the right choice. And then the teacher starts deflecting, and you're like, oh my God, maybe this isn't the right thing. And you start second guessing yourself. And you may not notice that, but later you get frustrated. You're like, why didn't I say that? Why didn't I respond in that moment? Why did I let myself get rattled into that, pulled into the drama? And I know you're nodding your head right. You're like, yes, yes, I've done that before. So give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself, because the person that you were connecting with has had years of practice using deflection as a survival mechanism. So after one conversation and recognizing deflection, you're not going to be an expert on deflection, and neither am I. But there are signs to look out for so that you can navigate the conversation in a different direction. You want to navigate the conversation in a different direction and pull them away from deflection. And so, step one is bringing responsibility back to them. We're focusing on you right now. This is a conversation where we're focusing on you, right? Similar things happen when you're in a meeting with a parent and you're talking about their child, and they'll say something like, yeah, well, I heard that Benji is really a hard kid. That kid's always talking about how Benji's hitting other kids. Deflection. Right now, we're focusing on your child. Now we're talking about Sam. And teachers do the same thing, right? They're deflecting. So we want to keep responsibility in their court. You want to confidently lead your school to excellence? I know you do. I know that you're working so hard right now, but it's diffused energy in a lot of different directions. Whatever it is that you want to achieve in your school, whether that's higher retention, skills to hold staff accountable, the ability to start passing the baton to the next in line, the skills to lead difficult conversations, how to get teacher buy-in, parent buy-in, how to schedule a calendar so you can have a life outside of work, how to find the confidence inside of yourself to trust your decision making, and the ability to lead other leaders, the ability to truly step into your greatness for everything that you know that's already inside of you. The Directors in Our Circle and our Owners HQ programs are our premium experience for school leaders to take their skills, their mindset, and their confidence to the next level. We do this through coaching, through training, and accountability. You see, I want to be your guide in the journey so you can be the hero of your life. My team and I will guide you every step of the way to ensure that you get results and a transformation in your school. Because if you want things to change, if you believe in your heart that you have what it takes to make that transformation, and you want someone to guide you, to give you the tools, to hand you the scripts, to give you the done for you systems, to show you the templates, to show you every step of the way what's next, and you want a community of other amazing leaders to support you so you never feel alone, then I want you to apply for the Directors in Our Circle or Owners HQ program to see if you are a fit. You could go to hani.me/join the DIC or click the link in the show notes. All right, thanks so much, and let's get back to our show. Step two is bring attention to what they're doing. So let's say you're in conversation with them and you bring up the topic of excessive callouts or excessive latenesses, or the fact that they keep asking for tons of time off, right? And maybe you've had a lot of conversations with them about it. Okay. And every time you try to bring up this conversation, they steer the conversation in a different direction. It's like masterful. And you're like, oh my gosh, how many times am I going to have this conversation with them until I figure out how to hold them accountable to this? So here's what I want you to try next time. Next time you go into a conversation and deflection starts happening, I want you to pause and I want you to tell them, Have you noticed that whenever I bring up the conversation of call outs, the conversation starts steering in a different direction? And then pause. And they might stare at you blankly, or they might not know what you're talking about. And so then you'll gently respond and say, I appreciate your joke or sharing about your family, but right now we have an important topic to discuss, which is the excessive latenesses, and we need to stay on track. And that's hard. It's hard to say that. It's hard to bring attention to what they're doing, but it's helpful because many times they're not aware. They are completely unaware of the fact that they are deflecting and they are constantly pushing away from the conversation or procrastinating to it. And so just gently bringing it to their attention, like, this is what's going on right now, can be super, super helpful. Okay, so let's review so far what we've spoken about. Number one, we spoke about leading with empathy. Number two, I shared about keeping the responsibility in their court, right? Right now, we're talking about you. Number three, bring attention to what they're doing. So sharing with them, do you notice that every time we have this conversation, this is what happens? Okay. And then the fourth thing is many staff deflect because what you're talking about is not a priority in their life. They might be truly overwhelmed by so many other tasks and projects, or even big ones. And you bringing up this conversation about keeping a supply closet clean or doing their documentation board or coming on time or whatever it is, it's just not high on their priority list. And so they deflect it. And so that's where empathy comes into play again, right? Where you say, I know that there's a lot of things on your plate. You're juggling a lot of balls in your personal life. And this probably isn't super important to you right now. And I get it. And I want to have a conversation about how we can resolve this, because this conversation is important to the growth of you and the growth of our school. And it's critical to your role here. So we need to come up with ways to bring this front and center for you to focus on it more. So you see what we did here in these conversations is we're gentle, we're leading with empathy, and at the exact same moment, we're holding people accountable, right? We are doing validation. I understand there's a lot on your plate. This probably isn't super important to you right now. And then you're holding them accountable. We need to have a conversation about how we can resolve this because this is important to your role and the growth of our school. And so we need to figure out a way to bring this front and center for you to focus on it more. So I know this script sounds super simple and smooth when I say it. And I want you to remember that you can do this. It takes practice. It takes following a script. It takes time. And as you practice it and role play it, it will roll off your tongue faster and you'll get there. And just having this awareness around, okay, deflection is happening right now. How do I respond? How do I show up? Use the scripts workbook that we have in the show notes. Have those things front and center. Re-listen to this podcast episode before you go into a conversation, right? Download our difficult conversation template, also in the show notes. All of these tools will help you gain more and more awareness on when people are using these 4 shields, and will give you the ability to navigate the conversations in the direction that you want it to. So today was shield number 3, deflection, in our 4-part series. Next week is our final episode in the 4-part series of the 4 shields of the difficult conversation. And we're going to be talking about the 4th shield, which is victimhood. So I hope you join us next week, and thanks for joining us today. If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school, I would love if you can do 2 things for me. 1, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And 2, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the place to learn how to build a school of excellence. And I would be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support makes this show to be able to be listened by the thousands of other school leaders all around the world. Thanks so much for listening, for giving us your time and attention each and every week, and I appreciate that you have joined us.
If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.